problem. Onwards. All right, I saw it. Is there any difference in the meaning of cooperation and collaboration as coordination is clear? No difference. So I would say collaborating is probably better to use though. Cooperation can be a little bit passive, like, yeah, we cooperated together, just like it feels a little distant. Collaborated means like work closely together is the feeling. So actually collaboration or collaborated or collaborating with ing is better. So I cooperated with these guys means like I did it, but the feeling can be like maybe you didn't want to. So while they have the same meaning, the feeling, the way we use it in natural English is collaboration is like much closer. As you look at job ads, you'll see it used more as well. So if you're ever unsure about what kind of wording you should use, look at the actual position that you're applying for. And if that's in English, that's why you're sending an English CV, it should be clear. Even if you said no, some companies specifically require a CV with a photo. That is true. But again, I think you can still link it with a LinkedIn profile. If you're going for something which is like client facing or sales, then sure. But keep in mind that like when you start going for bigger, more international companies, like, you know, beyond, then they cannot judge you based on your appearance. Then there's actually quite a lot of EU regulations against it. So even if like your physical appearance is important for the position, it's a really messy thing. And in reality, if you are, let's say it's a kind of hosting position or something where, okay, well, your appearance is important, then you probably don't want to just have a CV. You actually want to have like a portfolio, you know, like a actual like photo or like an acting position or like hosting. So you can put your photo on, but unless it's specifically required for the position, which is already like, okay, they can't like judge you based on your appearance, whether you're a good fit for the admin work. And that's why you shouldn't have it on your CV, basically. I'll put in my CV that I'm studying English at Miteco, then I'm sure they'll employ me. No, 100%. I mean, you can do so much more at Miteco. Just come work for me. It'd be perfect. What do you think about the CV if the person worked for only one company for 3 to 6 months? That's fine. It's absolutely fine. People very much overthink the timing on this, and it can go both ways. I've had clients who've worked for, and the biggest problem they have is that they've been working for the same company for like 15 years, and it still works against them because the feeling is that like, oh well, what did you do? So then you have to break down that position into like, you have to try and demonstrate that within 15 years at the same company, you actually evolved, developed skills, moved. So you still have to break it down into sections and present it like multiple positions. Otherwise, just the time, well, I did this for 15 years. It's like, that's not the impressive thing that people feel it is. And in fact, it can look like you didn't want to change, you didn't develop, you didn't get promoted. It looks bad. So even 3 to 6 months is okay. If the experience is relevant, it won't be that big a factor. Keep in mind as well, I think the hardest thing to accept with a CV is that it is just to get you to the interview stage. That's what it does. Once you started the interview process, you're already in. The CV has done its job, right? So always remember, you just need to get to the interview, and then you can start to explain this stuff yourself, and you can do a much better job of like explaining. Don't lie on your CV, and they may come back and say, oh, we saw in your CV you worked here at this company, tell us about that. Then you can tell them about that. It's much easier to put this in your own words face to face than try and explain everything on your CV. So your CV really should just be ticking boxes, get you to the interview. That's its job. After that, it maybe will be used at the end of the process if like they're looking at 2 different candidates, and maybe if the hiring manager hasn't had a chance to meet you for some reason, then your CV comes back. But CV is just to get your bum into the interview. That's what it's. That's the job. Should we put a page for a CV, and if you send a portfolio like for creative jobs? Yeah, exactly. So you can still just have a normal CV, but then link to your portfolio. If you're doing a creative position, your portfolio will be much better, right? Like you can actually do a lot more work. Here's websites I've worked with. I've got a friend, for example, who's a web page designer. CV looks nice. It's kind of professionally done. It's 1 page, but the whole thing is links to like Here's a project. You can check out my work here. You can see what I did here. Go and look at the websites. Absolutely. Definitely do that. Just make sure your CV is highlighting your best strengths, your experience. That's key. Absolutely key. And if you aren't on LinkedIn, would it be better to add a photo on a CV or not? You should just go on LinkedIn. Really, you don't need to be on there uploading, like posting every day or even reading what other people say. But it's just, it shows that you're connected with the world. It shows that you're a professional, and it's free. So whether you're like completely offline, it's still worth doing. Just get a LinkedIn account, put it on, copy and paste your CV across over to LinkedIn if you want to. It's fine, but get a LinkedIn account, truly. You don't need to do anything with it after that, honestly. Just have one. It shows you're connected with the world and you're networking. Alrighty, so, let's vote for our favourites.